almost. Nearly or not quite. He was almost asleep by the time the movie was over. She was almost certain that her husband was having an affair. The house construction is almost complete. It is almost dark outside. The laundry is almost dry. It is almost impossible to fool her. We received an almost immediate response from the sellers. He was almost blinded by the flying debris. She almost choked on a piece of meat. The cars almost collided on the highway. The tornado almost destroyed the house. He almost dropped the expensive vase. He almost fell asleep during the speech. She almost finished first.
Garden. A place for growing plants and flowers. Their house is surrounded by beautiful gardens. She has a big garden behind the house. They're working in the backyard garden. She's trying to keep the birds out of the vegetable garden. These came from the rose garden. They toured the community gardens. There is an art show at the botanical garden. They are planning a new community garden. She planted the garden yesterday. She tends her garden on the weekend. They maintain the old gardens by the school. I need to water the garden before I leave. The room overlooks the garden. We need to get more garden plants. She tries to deal with garden pests without chemicals. I bought a new garden hose. I'll wait by the garden gate. We're going to the garden store tomorrow. She is out in the garden. I want to turn this part of the yard into a garden. International. Involving 2 or more countries. She makes many international calls to her family. His music made him an international celebrity. We are housing an international student. The government is encouraging international trade.
Lower. To move someone or something in a downward direction. They carefully lowered the coffin into the ground. She quickly lowered her voice to a whisper. I lowered down the curtains to block out the sun. The pilot carefully lowered the helicopter onto the roof. He lowered himself down to the ground. They lowered the coffin into the ground. The city lowered the speed limit. She lowered her arm. She needs to lower her cholesterol. We negotiated to lower the payment. Please lower the volume.